So this will be recorded, and I'm going to just start with so you're all here because you want to know more, but I'm going to start kind of in the reason why it's so important, and kind of base that as our starting point today. So let me do a share screen. I'm so glad to reboot the Widget Wednesday. We had kind of gone on hiatus for a couple of months, but for those of you who haven't been on a Widget Wednesday before, this is something that I really like to do, is teach. Who knew? All right, so I'm just going to fire up a slideshow. So I've been doing some videos and posts, and this is the one about expanding your digital footprint. So we're going to go over parts of this during our talk. And I want you to get a piece of paper, a little notepad or something, and I want you to write down on one side the things you're going to do, and on the other side, write down questions that you have. So we're going to address most of the questions at the end. You can also put them in chat, and I'll look at those at the end as well, because we're not going to be able to cover everything. There is so much you can do on the internet to expand your footprint. So that's why I wanted you to write the questions of things you're interested in going deeper. You're reminding me of a quote. Jim Rohn says, "What is valuable is when what you say is just the tip of the iceberg of what you know." We're going to cover tip of the iceberg on Google today. And there is so much more that I want to share, but again, we only have less than an hour to do this. So we may go deep dive into other topics down the line in future Widget Wednesdays. So the tip is, no matter what your size of your business, obviously you want to increase your visibility, right? And what makes it so nice is the internet makes it possible. Here's an example of a little storefront. I think it's in England. You know, very nondescript, very small, not a big footprint as far as a street visibility. What they can do is increase their visibility by adding an awning, you know, putting up signs, making sure there's a person there. And I tell that to people. I used to do a lot of work in Rancho Cordova for their city visibility. And I would go into a shop and I say, "Oh, get behind the counter." And they say, "Oh no, I don't want to be in the picture." Well, the image that sends if you have an empty store is nobody's going to want to go in there, right? Same things with pictures that you post on the internet. So really get over it. Put yourself in as many pictures, because we do business with people we know, like, and trust. But if you're hiding behind your business, we really can't get to know you as well. You know, put a face to the name. So having a person in pictures is really good. Other things you can do is obviously put on the banner, voted the #1 deli, put a big open sign on it, put flags on it. So there's a lot more you can do to your storefront to make it more visible. The challenge is, you know, if it's a big, huge city, how do you do that? So that's our challenge, is how do you get visibility when there's a lot of other competition? And in the old days, it used to be ads, yellow pages, radio, TV. That was the old days. Now the internet comes along. That's our challenge. Now the internet comes along, and look at these numbers. I did some research, and Google market share is now more than 90%. Back when I started teaching this stuff, it was right around 67, 65%. It's jumping. Now, that's not the only search engine out there. There's Bing, and there's other search engines and directories. But that's a pretty good thing. That's like saying, you know, advertise in the Sacramento Bee back in the day, because it has 90% of the market share, versus maybe a little small town paper. So if you're going to invest time and or money, put it where people are looking, right? There are more than 246 million Google users. That's a lot of traffic. Now, not everybody's going to be looking for you or interested in what you have to do, but again, that's opportunity. So you want to be able to take advantage of that. Google processes 40,000 search queries every second. That's a lot of traffic. Again, this is back in October 2019. I imagine with COVID, yeah, that number has skyrocketed, right? Yeah. This is all we have. So that's the opportunity, is how do you take advantage of all that foot traffic? Well, first of all, you submit your information on Google My Business. And again, since you've all done that, you know to set up a Google account, enroll, it's free. So let's go into real life examples. I'm going to use Yvonne as an example because I know she's been busy doing this. I need to pull up Google. All right, so there's a couple of ways I would find Yvonne. First of all, I would type in her name. I met her at a PW1 event. I remembered the name of her business or her name. So I'm just going to type in, I don't remember her website, although it's pretty easy to guess, but I'm just going to type in her business name. So you'll see what popped up on the right-hand side is her business profile. That's what you want. That's free. Once you claim it, Google gives you the ability to put photos and where she serves. And that's what, if you remembered and you were on PWN when Kim brought my name up, I had my address. All I had to do was remove the address and put my service area. So it will automatically draw a circle around your Roseville, Rockland service area or your Sacramento area. You just have to put in those references. So if you can do business nationwide, go ahead and put it there. I know, for example, Kay and Roxanne, you may focus in this service area, but if you can sell product nationwide, why not promote that? Doesn't hurt. Business hours and all that stuff. Now, in terms of digital footprint, what I wanted also to show you, let me get into, let's see if I can change my view. Yeah, it's kind of hard. All right, so this is what we mean by digital footprint. You'll see on the left-hand side all the search results. Now, for Pirate Heart Press, not a lot of competition, right? Because it's very specific. The name of pirate is different than the normal. So not a lot of competition, but you'll see she dominates. The website's #1, Facebook, Instagram. She does a lot on social media. And that's what we mean by digital footprint. It's, put up those signs everywhere. Put up the open sign and the flags and say, hey, I am here. That's how you make sure that you have a big presence on the internet, is by claiming as much as you can in all those social media platforms, in YouTube, in the service directories. And you'll see that you go down, and I don't know who Coupon W Code is, but it found her. I think I mentioned that I was in the BBB because I was president of the Asian Chamber 20 years ago, and they still found that. So Pinterest, so all of these are opportunities in terms of getting you shown everywhere. Deidre had mentioned that you don't have the time to publish everywhere. You want to kind of focus on where it's important. But this is the thing. Google searches everywhere. Even though people don't know of some of these directories, Google does. And Google ranks your listings based on relevance. Okay, I want that to sink in. Google says, if I find Pirate Heart Press in a lot of different directories and the information is current, it's not dating back to 2003, and there's a lot of information there, it says this is relevant. So if somebody Googles for this name, I'm going to put it up there. Again, not a lot of competition for the name, but likely more competition for the services she provides, right? But the same thing applies. If Google says, what business out there is relevant for a keyword search? Who am I going to serve up out of the 4,000 or 4 million or 4 billion, because they go up there, pages out there in the internet? Okay, so let's just do something. Now, again, in this day and age, because we're using our phones a lot for searching, it's not just, the internet. What kinds of, terms may people type in? So I'm going to just type in how to publish a book. Now, if you've ever noticed that Google serves up these opportunities, I would recommend, and Deidre said, Google yourself. So Google yourself and see how you do. How big is your footprint? Number 2 task is to type in something that you think people would use to find a product or service that you provide, whatever it is. And so with Yvonne, I started typing publish a book, but look, how to publish a book on Amazon, how to publish a children's book. And if you think that's something that you can do, start considering adding a page on your website that addresses that need, or posting a blog, because blog pages again, expand your digital footprint. So this is telling you how to publish an ebook. These are tips, because this isn't just, oh, I wonder if anybody would Google it. Google is telling you somebody is Googling this, right? So if I go, let's do Amazon. Okay, 201 million pages, a little bit more competition than the 4,000 we found for Pirate Heart Press. Now, you'll see here, these are ads. Now, I do not specialize in Google ads. For most part, I find them not as cost effective as other strategies. You can find out if you think it might be cost effective. It's just a matter of how much is the ads costing me, how much businesses bring in, and does B exceed A? And if it doesn't, don't do it. But we're not going to talk about Google ads, but this is your competition. And likely there's competition for ads because it's profitable for these businesses. So obviously Amazon has a presence there, Amazon. So if you're competing against Amazon, that might be a hard, hard thing. Because they have some resources, right? And a pretty good sized digital footprint. So maybe you're better off and looking at another topic, like how to publish a book online. That's a little bit more generic. That's weird. It's not telling me how many search results there are. But again, add. These FAQs are good. This again could be something that you can address in the blog. I'm actually researching how to get your FAQs in this. There's an algorithm, and I don't know what it is yet, but I'm looking into that. Again, okay, so here's a website, ghostebokwriters.com. Lulu. So these are not ads. So the reason it came up in the searches is, remember I mentioned in Deidre's talk to use meta tags. Put the title of your page in the search that they're looking for. So the fact that I said publish a book, the fact that these have publish book in their title, in their URL, helps that, gets it Google points, and also addresses it in the meta description, which is that short paragraph you put on your blog page, whether it's a blog page or a website page. And that shows you the rankings there. And it generally does not put a business on the right-hand side, because I was just searching for a question, right? Not a business. So the Google My Business comes when they're looking for you or your products or services, like a restaurant or something. But the queries are getting a lot more complex. And that's why using these hints from Google is important, as far as what can I blog about that will help. Okay, so I'm going to take a pause here. Does anybody have any questions? Because I tend to ramble on. Does anybody notice that? Okay, because there's a lot. I told you there's a lot. So one of my suggestions, and I know some of you know this, is to use a tool called Keywords Everywhere. Because this tells you what people are searching for, but it doesn't tell you how many. It doesn't tell you if it's 100 or 1,000 or more. So I found this tool called Keywords Everywhere. It costs $10 for like 100,000 queries. So it's like almost free. It used to be free, but then they started charging $10. But again, I think it's a really worth it. So I can turn it on. You'll see I have this little icon in my search browser. I can turn it on. Now, when I turn it on and I type in how to publish a book, I'm just going to use a generic one. It gives me the same results. But on the right side, Keywords Everywhere tells me how many queries there are. Again, valuable information, because if you've got a lot of ideas, you want to spend your time where the traffic is. Why put a blog out there if only 10 people are looking for it in a month, right? So here you'll look, 9,900 queries a month on average. The trend has been pretty stable. It hasn't spiked. Again, there might be topics that have really spiked because of COVID. So those are the interesting things to explore, because if it's spiked, your competition maybe lacks in staying ahead of that curve. So if you can get ahead of the curve, remember we talked about the Woody Allen quote, just stay 13 seconds ahead of your competition. this is your opportunity to do some research and figure it out. So again, I'll look, so here are these mini trends. How to publish a book with a publisher. You'll see how it's ticking up a little bit. How to publish a book and make money. That would be a good topic.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, the queries are not as much as up here, but you're going to find how to publish a book in Canada. Interesting. So these are clues on what kinds of things you want to blog about, what kinds of keywords you want to put in your profile, not only in Google My Business, but also on your website. Okay. So that would be one of the things I recommend is go to Keywords Everywhere, download that and pay the $10 because you'll see I do this all the time. And I don't remember how long I've had this, but I think I've got like 70,000 left. So it takes a long time to go through 100,000 keywords. So definitely something that will help you. Okay, so that covers one, you know how to claim your Google My Business. You know why it's important. You know what to kind of start thinking about putting not only in your profile, but also blogs and other content. Let's go to Google My Business. Let's answer a couple of questions there. So business.google.com. So what I did just yesterday, I think, I helped manage several businesses. This is why you see this here. Let's see. I was doing an experiment for Wine Geek. I just wanted to see what would happen. So you'll see here, one of my listings is acceleration services. It's verified. So has everybody verified and understand what that means? Some people get stuck on that. Most of the time.
I don't know what that means.
Okay. So Google wants to make sure you own this business.
Oh, okay. Is that where they mail you the postcard?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, I got it. Okay.
So yeah.
I've not done that.
Okay. Yeah. So you definitely, because they won't post it until you verify you are who you are. So you want to go and verify. Sometimes you can do it online, like with a phone number, but a lot of times they'll mail you a postcard and that'll take 1 or 2 weeks. And then they'll give you a code, then you have to verify with the code. They just want to make sure you're who you are. So that's the verify. Once it's done, then you have access and control of everything. You'll see here, what I did was I just changed my service area to United States, and that's why I drew that little circle around that. Again, you can modify that to put in specific counties, specific cities, California. It kind of just depends on what you want. And it's pretty instantaneous because it only took a couple hours for it to kind of feed back into Google. You can add your business hours, which was really important for COVID. I mean, because people's hours were changing or they were temporarily closed. So maintaining that, because people get frustrated, right? They go, oh, it says they're open, and then they go there and you're closed. You don't want to tick off your potential customers. So keeping this complete and current is important because once they see old data, they may assume they went out of business and they may never look for you again. So definitely keep that up. This is what we talked about, services. I don't know why this is highlighted. That's interesting. What categories do you have? A description about your business. So I would scroll through this. In fact, something I noticed, I'm not sure if I didn't do it. I know what I did. So I'm going to just show you something else that I just found out this morning. Things change, right? So even if you just do this like 2 months ago, it's good to check on it again because things change. I'm just going to Google for myself. This is what I noticed. So Google put up this little banner thing because I'm logged in my Google account and I am using Google. It says, oh, this is you. You manage this account. So this is what this means. You manage this business account right here. Then it says claim your credit. I'm not going to buy, Google ads. Keep customers up to date. So I'm going to just click on that and see what Google wants to know. So again, they want to know if you're still open. Are you offering appointments? Yes. And then they ask for an appointment link. So this is where I use my scheduler. And I can drop in that URL. You'll actually see it there. It says Once Hub. So if you have a scheduling, this is good to use. So I'm just going to, I want to say yes. Let me go grab that really quick. I don't want to delete my appointment. So if those of you who I know we've talked about this in some of the mastermind groups, but I use a scheduler because it's so much easier than playing phone tag with people about when are you available. And it costs, you know, maybe $10 a month, but definitely for me, it's been worth it because it also does changes for time zones because I can service people in Hawaii and Chicago. This way, I don't have to worry about them. They can just pick their time zone and it looks in my calendar and says, oh, she's not up at 6 a.m. Never mind. Okay, so I'm going to drop that into Google My Business. It says open hours. I'm just going to leave that the same. So it's just asking you to fill in some questions. And I thought that was pretty good. See, so now because Google is keeping, tabs of COVID, see, this is why things change. So I don't know. I don't want to take the time to read that. I'll just save it as is. Thanks for the
That
update.
brings up a question though, Susan, because those questions would be designed for a physical storefront.
Right.
And we're not. So
right.
If we say no, are we going to hurt ourselves that we're not requiring masks and we're not taking temperatures?
I think people are smart enough to understand the nature of business because one of the things is if you don't put a physical address, it assumes you're a delivery system, or you go to them. Like with Janelle being interior design, you're going to go to their house and you can put that in your description or on your website. That's where your website becomes important. Sure. Or your profile. And it's just don't rely on Google. Now I did find something else that actually you can create a landing page in Google. Did not know that. That's new. I know most of you have websites, but I think Roxanne, you might have had the question about, is this relevant for me as a, you're in a network marketing company. But that's why it's more important because again, we talked about it, Deidre's presentation, that you don't want to send people to the doTERRA site or the Pampered Chef site, even though you have a profile there, because there's all your competition. Right. Why would you do that? So create a website or a landing page somewhere else so that you can own that. You can put your blog posts and your pictures and your testimonials and all that stuff. And it's all about you. As Pat will say, it's all about you, right? That's the most important thing. So take a look at your Google profile, even though you have, you've might have updated it, and see what else you can do. Because again, the more content you can put up there, the more topics, the more links, the better. Okay. So I'm going to again pause here. Does anybody have any questions about Google? That's the big dog, right? We said 93% of the traffic. So from the very least, make sure your Google profile is complete, is validated. You update it because again, when you log in, you can update pictures. Feed pictures, feed video, YouTube, huge. Okay, so let's do a couple of examples as we kind of finish talking about let's see, we did Pirate Heart Press. So years ago, when I was doing this seminar, maybe 5 years ago, and one of my clients was a storage company. He used to go to home shows and put, storage units on your garage. And when we do, garage storage units, oops, we'll just do garage storage. Of course, you've got competition like Overstock and REI and lots of ads, competition, all these businesses, Lowe's. I mean, again, these guys have big storefronts, big digital presence. So how do you compete against Home Depot if you're, garage storage? So think about, remember we talked about questions, especially now, people are Googling very specific things. And what we did then, and I want to recreate now, is he mentioned that one of the things you can use his storage units for is to store kayaks. Okay, kayaks, interesting. So I just typed in how to store a kayak, and you'll see again, it tells us things that people are in an apartment. Okay, let's see what happens. So 4 million results, that's pretty good competition. Again, same thing. But what we found is, again, things have changed with video. There was a really bad 8-minute video that some amateur, it wasn't even with a business, he said, this is how I store my kayak in my garage. And it went from 80,000 views, and it was posted maybe a couple of years before, to over 120,000 views in just a couple of years. So video is still very big because, again, it may not show up in a search result, but I, as a consumer, would rather watch a video than read all these ads. So what I do as a consumer is I click this video link up here in Google and say, okay, who has posted a video about how to store a kayak? So again, if you are looking at what are people Googling that I can help them with, you post a video, which now you can add to your blog, or now you can add to your website as a how-to, creating content, put the keywords that people are looking for, and get more visibility. So I think video is something that we all should be doing, because again, Google owns YouTube. So they will give good Google points for YouTube videos, and it expands your digital footprint. I'm going to go back because I'm curious as to what Keywords Everywhere said. Oh yeah, did you see that video? Some guy created a folding kayak. It's like origami. It was amazing. It just kind of folds into this little container. It was amazing. But anyway, so there were a lot of searches for that, but you'll see, again, there is some opportunity there. Not a lot, but depending on your industry, use Keywords Everywhere to figure out what people are looking for, and then devote some time to creating a blog, a video, content to address that question, and then throw it out there into the internet world. Okay? Any questions about that?
How do you know, like, what your main thing that people are looking for when they find you? Like, I've asked people, what are you looking for when you look for me? And they go, well, I just looked for you because I heard you speak, or I just looked for you.
So what do you think? I mean, if you, let's ask this audience. If you were, and you know that Janelle does interior design, what kind of interior design questions would you post?
I mean, how would you ask that?
Like, okay, so I am doing some remodeling. So again, it depends on your interest. I'm kind of a country farmhouse gal, right? So I might type in, what is the latest trend in farmhouse decor? Now, it looks like I'm the only one who's typed it because it didn't drop down a lot of queries there, which is a clue, but that's me, right? So you'll see that Wayfair comes up, and I've been doing a lot of shopping on Wayfair. Questions about blogs, etc. Well, okay, so interior design trends, that popped up. So even though my question was very specific to farmhouse, Janelle, talking to you.
No, I'm listening, writing down.
Yeah, no. Interior design trends 2021, 9,900 queries on average per month, and it is trending up. And I heard this because we're spending more time in our homes now.
Right.
People are investing more money in their homes now because now they're not going to the office. They're not spending money on gas. They're spending time at home, and they want their space, right? So again, think about the trends. You know, what's new because of COVID or because of something popular, whether it's a movie or, you know, those kinds of things affect what people are looking for, right? So put yourself in the shoes of your potential customers, or ask your friends, what are you looking for in this area? Whether it's cooking or painting or whatever.
Okay.
And just start, you know, using this tool, because again, for $10, it's well worth the information it provides, because it's going to give you ideas. And then just start a list. What am I going to video about? What am I going to blog about? Okay. So let's see. We talked about images. And again, I like images, and that's where Pinterest becomes valuable for some of you, it's a social media platform, because Google is just one platform. It's just one of dozens of places you can put your signs and your information and your pictures and your video. So let's expand this. And this is something that Yvonne actually started working on Friday, huh, Yvonne, when we set up your account. So let's see, I think I got it open. So I mentioned that Deidre had said, so Google is the most important, and I agree with that. Google is the most important place to spend some time and get your content out there. She then said, well, pick another top 3, whether it's Pinterest or Yelp or whatever you want to, make sure that it has content and get it out there. But it's a big time suck, and it would be. You'd have to log into every single opportunity. A few years ago, I found a tool, because one of my topics is where there's a will, there's a widget. No matter what you want to do, somebody has invented something that will help you save time and or money. And there's a company called Yext that I am a provider for. Let's see. I thought I opened that up for you, Yvonne. Okay. Maybe I didn't open that window. So do you remember what your report said, Yvonne, when we ran this for you? It was mostly missing, right? And Yvonne is a new business. Okay, so Yvonne has only been in business a little over a year. So chances are Google hasn't found her too much yet and posted all these things, and so isn't really big. So it's really important if you're a new business, but just as important if you are I'm going to log in as me. If just as important as if you are a established business, because you don't know what the directories or search engines are talking about you. Let's see here. Okay, I don't want to do that yet.
I think there were like 90 platforms and
yeah, there's over 70. I know that, and I think they're expanding it. So I think Yvonne is in here. So I run accounts for several businesses, and let's see, you might be on page 2. No, you should be on page Pirate Heart. Where are you, Yvonne? Okay, I'm going to look for you. I just wanted to show you what we're doing with Yvonne and why it's something to consider.
yeah, I've got it down to the last 4, and I'm not sure what to do on those. So you and I will have to talk.
Okay, where are you? I keep moving my profile around. Well, let's use another example. I don't want to spend your time. I'm going to use Capital Confections because they've done really well. They're having their, I think I told you guys this story, is that Capital Confections is a client of mine. 1 year ago, she calls me in a panic because she had 100 Easter bunnies, chocolate Easter bunnies, and nobody was coming by because COVID had shut everything down. And so we got her more digital footprint. We did some emails. Oh, come on, stop it. This is where technology is really good. The very first programming class, 1976. I was sitting in a computer class at UC Davis, and my Fortran, which is coded that you don't even write anymore, it's obsolete, was telling us that no matter if you're doing a presentation, if you've got a paper due, the computer's going to break. And 50 years later, it's still true. When you're doing a demo or something, something's not going to work. So you just got to live with it. So pardon me while I fix my computer. I'm going to hit refresh. I thought for sure you'd be in here, Yvonne.
I know.
Why is this not clearing? Interesting. Let me hit refresh again. Oh, come on. It's looking for capital. All right. Oh, let's just do this. All right. All right. If I can't find you, I'm just going to go with somebody else, but I don't know why you're not in here. Okay. Let's try the second page. Nope. Sorry, Yvonne. I don't know why you're not in my profile, or I can't see it. Sometimes it's just, okay, we'll use Folsom Vet. So Folsom Vet was important because they were often unclosed. So we use this, a lot. So what this tool does is it links to Google, Facebook, Foursquare, and about 70 different directories. And you put all that information about your business categories, your hours, pictures, keywords, services, specialties, all that in one place. And it sends it out there to all the 70 different places. Oh, such a time saver. And not only that, it does a couple other things.
I wonder if that's what Vistaprint is offering, something
It
like
could
that.
be, this technology is not necessarily new, but I'll tell you the reason I picked this company. There's a couple of different reasons. One, they've been doing this for a long time. See, the thing is, okay, so every company picks a specialty, and Vistaprint started off, printing and business cards and postcards and stuff. And they started expanding to website stuff because the website was trending. In my 40 years of being in business, they tend not to be the best at everything. They tend to be best at what they started out, and then they branch off, and they're okay, but they're not the best. This company has been doing just this for at least 10 years, possibly longer. But what they provide is, again, a dashboard. I call it a digital dashboard to fill in all the stuff about what you do.
And what do they charge, Susan?
So it starts out about $50 a month. Now, what Devon is doing is she's just fixing everything. I have, if you call Yext, they only do this on an annual basis, which for most of my customers, I said, I want to become a distributor because I don't want to have to charge them for a whole year. Sometimes you just want to get it out there, and think about it as weeds in the garden. This is a good example I heard, is you fix it, but unless you maintain it, it can get kind of weedy again, with bad information, but at least it's mostly fixed. So, well, let me show you on Folsom Vet. They keep moving stuff. So on this, let's see, knowledge graph. Analytics. It gives you a lot of information. Oh, this tells you about traffic and stuff. What I wanted to do was go to the locations. Oh, stop it. Okay. For some reason, I can't, must be me. We just did this for Yvonne, like yesterday, Yvonne. Do you remember where the listings went? They moved it on me.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I'll send you a screenshot a little bit later. I don't want to spend time searching for this. But what it does is it tells you where you're listed in about 70 different search engines and directories. And you're not going to be listed in all of them because some, depending on your industry, it may not list you on the hotel websites and stuff. So that's okay, but at least it gives you that opportunity to be listed. And why that's important is because now it expands where you are. Because again, Google says, I like it when businesses have consistent information across a lot of different products or a lot of different platforms. I was going to do this for, let me see if I can find that.
Susan,
Yes,
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but
sure.
Listings, when I just went into Yext, Listings was right next to graphic or next to knowledge graph.
Yeah, see, and I'm not seeing that on mine. I'm not sure why. That's why I'm lost. So I'll figure it out. It's there. I don't know if it's because I have a master account. Maybe it's someplace different. And they keep moving stuff on me sometimes. But I just wanted to show you a link. And I'll put this in the dashboard as well. Okay. So I'm going to go to my website. So if you want to know more about this product, and getyournettinggear.com, under solutions, get found on the World Wide Web, expand your digital footprint, there is a place to analyze your business. So let's use, Roxanne, you volunteered.
Sure.
So I'm going to ask you to give me your business name.
Well, this is part of the challenge
Yeah.
because I have to identify myself as an independent consultant.
Mm-hmm.
So what do I do? Pampered Chef and then my name, or do I do my name and and then independent?
So how did you
consultant?
register it in Google?
I think I did Pampered Chef.
Okay, so let's try Pampered Chef. Let's just do Pampered Chef. Roxanne.
You have to do Dorfy, D-O-R-F-F-I. It's a long story.
D-O-R-F-F-I. Oops.
Yeah.
Just that?
Well, you have to say independent consultant or they'll have a cow.
Does Pampered Chef have a cow?
Yes.
Independent consultant. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Now we put your address here, not that we need to post it, because as you saw with Google, you can hide it, but just for a reference. So what's your business address?
1829
Oops. 1829.
Woodacre, all one word, Way, Roseville, 95661.
95661. And what's your phone number?
916-780-1094.
So this is a tool that Yux provides, so we can figure out how you're doing on the World Wide Web. So let's go see what that means. Scrolling down, again, because the name is very specific, and maybe that's not how you listed yourself in Google. It didn't find you in Google, but that doesn't mean you're not there. And you'll see all these different search engine directories. So some of them you may not have heard about.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, some of these you have heard about, but again, the importance of getting the information in as many places as you can, and it helps expand your digital footprint. But it does sync with Google, Bing, some of the big dogs. And so when you update information in that digital dashboard, it will share that across. And I think when we ran this for you, Yvonne, where are you now? Did you check the results last time?
No, well, I checked yesterday and I had 4 businesses left that needed to have an update.
Let's just run the report since I can't find you in my system. So you listed as the Pirate Heart Press?
Yes.
Let's see how fast Susan could type. Okay, address.
1113 Root
Yeah.
Avenue. There it is. Yep.
Okay, is that you?
Yep, sure is.
Okay, let's just see. So we set Roxanne up Friday, right? With this
Yvonne.
digital dashboard. Oops, it won't let me do that because it says you're already listed. Oh, shoot. So let's look at the details. It's showing that it's synced. So I think, what did you say your results were right now? 9.
I had everything has been resolved except for 4 different platforms.
Okay. That's cool.
So there's like 90 platforms, and when I first ran the report, there were a lot of errors.
Mm-hmm.
And you go in and it tells you what the errors are. And so I was able to correct the ones that I needed to, and then opt out of the ones that I didn't feel that were relevant to me.
Yeah.
Such as the ones that required a listing based on your home address or your address, business address. So those I opted out of because
Right.
I work out of my home. I didn't want my address to be out
So there
there.
were maybe a dozen or so of those, correct?
Yeah, there is. Yeah, not many.
Yeah.
Like 10, 12 or something.
So
And-
again, it's up to you as a business, to opt out of those that don't allow you to be listed unless you put a business address in there, but you're still going to be in quite a few. So I just dropped into the chat. If you haven't done this, I recommend you run the report on yourself And again, it would be like Janelle, you're probably established because you've been in business for a while under your name.
Yeah.
So knowing where you are. And just before I forget to tell you, so normally I mentioned that there is a kind of one-time fix, which is $179, which includes setup and all that. I'm offering discounts for people on these seminars. So if it's something you're interested in, fill out the report, send me a copy, and then let's see what makes sense for you. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is stars. You know, almost as important as your keywords is how many stars you have by your Google My Business account, right? Because people judge you unless they know you. They met you at PWN. It doesn't matter if you have no stars or only, you know, well, they might question it if you have a 1-star rating. That may be true. So stars are really important. So how do you increase your stars? There is a tool, and I'm actually going to do this on myself because I have no stars on acceleration services in Google. Surprisingly enough, I get most of my business by word of mouth and not on the internet. So I haven't spent a lot of time thinking about this, but I'm going to see if I can increase my star rating. This was true for one client. The pool managers, who is a website client, had 1 star because people put stars up to complain about people, right? They say, I don't know what the stats are, but they say most of the time people will go online and gripe about you. And it's hard to get people to remember to put, you know, glowing reviews because we're busy and we forget. Even if you ask them, they forget. So Yext has a tool where we can send out a text message, which we get very good response on. So Pool Manager a few years ago had 1 star because somebody griped about him 2 years before and there was no activity. So we sent out text messages to his clients and his happy clients, obviously. And now we've added this feed. Oh, look, he just got one, what was that, 5 days ago. And for some reason that broke the ice. I mean, he hasn't used this tool for like 2 years now, but now because it just broke the ice, he's getting 5 stars, and that's helping him on Google. And because also not only that, let's see what happens. The pool managers. Oops. Yeah, 4.9 stars. 54 reviews, because the thing that we look at is not only how many stars you have, but it carries a lot more weight when you have 54 reviews versus 1 review. So this is another thing to think about if you think that you want to not only increase your Google presence on your Google My Business, but also add those stars. Let me know and we'll talk about how to use Yext to do that. I'm going to do that for my business. Okay. So let me check my list because I have a list of things I want to talk. We talked about blogging, importance of blogging. We talked, and that's with Google. We talked about YouTube. That's part of Google. So just by using the Google tools that you have access to, you can really increase your digital footprint. We talked about expanding that digital footprint to other platforms. Now, Yvonne has been part of our mastermind group, and she's become a master at expanding her digital footprint on Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram. All those are presents. And again, for some of you, like with Janelle, with Yvonne, with Roxanne and Jamie, visuals are very important for your business, right? So, use those other platforms to get photos out there. Pictures, how-tos. We talked about, does everybody know what a pictograph is?
What?
Pictograph. Yeah,
No.
it's a visual that shows you how to. It's like a map.
Okay.
And there's a lot of more traffic for those kinds of things. Not just a picture of the dish that you made, but a pictograph on the ingredients you use and the tools you use and the before and after. Here are the ingredients and here's this beautiful result of that. So videos are good for that as well. So you think about all the things that you could do on the internet that, you know, we couldn't do in the newspapers back 20 years ago. Such a golden opportunity for small business now, because now we have access to as many tools as the big dogs have. All right, so last thing, and then we're going to go to some more Q&A. I am going to reboot Widget Wednesday. I think there's so much things that people need to know about or have questions about that I decided that I am going to do a little bit more. So I'm actually going to copy a link, and I'm going to drop this into the chat room. There's a little form. So if there is interest in any of the topics that you want to go deeper dive into, fill out the form. Any questions that we didn't address today, fill out the form, and I'm going to see if about having at least a Widget Wednesday once a month. I don't know if we're going to go back to every 2 weeks, because that's a lot. And I want to give you time to do the homework. It's not just a matter of saying, oh, that was interesting, and then doing nothing. That doesn't help you. I want you to create a list of things that you're going to do or look into or research or utilize to make sure it can help you get more business on the internet, because it's out there. So just drop that form in there. You don't have to fill it out right now, but you might want to copy and paste it for later access. And I'm going to do a stop sharing my screen, and then just go around the room and see if there's any questions or any things you want to commit to doing. Okay. There's Pat. Okay, I see your question, Pat, and I'll come to that. All right, so does anybody have any my video questions or comments or ahas? I like ahas.
I have a thought. I do have star listings on House, which is a very specialized and sophisticated, you know, like people,
Right.
not the average person doesn't
Yeah,
go
it's an
on
industry
there.
thing, right?
So I want those on my website, but it's not letting me do that. I've tried many different ways. And
When you say you want it on your website, I don't understand what.
I want
Yes.
those ratings
Okay.
on my website.
Well, I've done this. House gives you a badge.
Right.
Don't
I
they?
have that. I have that
Okay.
on my website.
Doesn't that accomplish that or no?
No, because it doesn't show the 20 people that have said, oh, she does a great job. Oh, I'm so glad I hired her. You know, their specific quotes.
Well, so then what I would recommend is doing, like we talked about, blogs. One of the things a blog can do is feed onto your website. So if you have a blog that is just testimonials, I would just copy the testimonial, put it in your blog, reference it that came from House, and you could actually link back to House, which, you know, helps with cross links and stuff.
Okay.
And just, you know, take control. Because the other thing too is if you, like, I know some clients who had a video posted by Fox News or something, because they were interviewed by Fox News, and we linked to the page. Fox News can take that down.
They do.
You don't know if they're going to keep that up for a long period of time. So own your content. Own your content. So you know, again, just copy those, because again, you don't know how long the House will keep those.
Okay.
I would think that they would keep them for a while, but it's okay to copy content from, you know, Yelp or other sources, because I know Yelp has a reputation for having kind of promoting the bad reviews.
Yeah, I stay off of Yelp. I don't use Yelp, and I stay away from it. Like
I'm not a big Yelp fan, but again, if you've got a glowing review on Yelp, just copy it, put it in your book, reference that it came from Yelp, and leave it at that. Any other questions or comments?
It was great.
Oh, good. I'm glad. So what was, you know, let's go around the room real quick and just say if there was a big aha or something you're committing to do, because I want everybody that got, you know, hopefully you got something of value, and hopefully you got something that you're going to be able to utilize. So I just want to know what that is. Jamie, you're nodding your head, so I'm going to go.
I am. I have to claim my business, and I have to let people know what it's all about.
Yeah, and update it.
So I am definitely, I mean, look at, I had 2 columns. One is things to do and one is questions. And I don't know if you can see that. This
Oh,
is
yeah.
all my
Oh, you've been
favorite to
busy.
do.
Stars too. She starred some stuff.
I
Awesome.
did.
Good to hear.
So
All
if I
right.
can do a little every day.
Yeah. Yeah. And then again, if there's a topic you want to go a little deeper in, because we just kind of touched on some things.
Right, yeah, I definitely have to explore before
Yeah.
I have questions.
Okay. So next. Kay, you want to go next? I'm going to shut my
Oh,
door.
sure. I'll go next. I want to expand my map because I only have it as Colfax, and I'm going to expand it
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
North America, South America, the world. Okay. For Juan's, I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
And actually, I'll do Juan's profile too. I haven't done that.
Yeah.
And you just gave me an idea about doing a video for something. Esther sent a text to me about fleas and ticks and everything on her pets. And
Huh.
that's one of my things. And
Yeah.
I thought that was like a narrow view. So I'm going to do a video of demonstrating using essential oils on our cat. I don't know how our cat's gonna operate, but you said to get more
Camera friendly
people
your
in your
cat is.
pictures, so I want to get more people in my pictures. And I'm really interested in Yext for actually more for Juan's business than mine with his book and everything, because that can be worldwide. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, and there's
that's
got to be a
I,
lot of.
I wrote a lot of stuff down too, but that was the two main things.
Good. Good to hear. Let's see. Pat.
Okay, I always get reinvigorated every time I come to your one of your classes, Susan. But as the class goes on, I'm realizing how much I want somebody else to do it for me. I'm so jealous of Yvonne. She's only been doing it a year. Okay, I've been around Susan for almost 40 years. Okay, so I'm not even near where Yvonne is with all of the things she's doing, but at least I got my Google profile. I'm happy about that, or my Google business page. I did pay attention, Susan, to your PowerPoint with your animation thing. I get that, and I am committed to redoing my slides for the class that I did with some animation. When you talked about keywords and those Google searches, how to do a kayak, I'm going to start really digging into how to add humor, or what specifically relates to my business, how to add humor to your presentations. And I have to start making more videos, and I'm more and more comfortable with that, even if it's a teaser video to get them to buy my book or take my class that I'm trying to put into Member Vault and those type of things. So I'm invigorated. I have a lot to do, but I would like to find out how to hire a virtual assistant sometime.
Yeah. Well, so let's just touch on that real quick. There are virtual assistants out there. I don't know of any specifically that I could recommend, but just Google it. Look for their stars.
I know.
If you want somebody to help with your digital footprint, which is what we talked about, Google it, find a virtual assistant who is rocking their own digital footprint. Because if they're not going to be able to help you very well. And let us know.
Jamie and I might be able to share this a bit. Well, Renee has a virtual assistant that she just recently hired.
Yeah.
And I don't know how she found her, if it was a friend of a friend.
Yeah, talk to me about that. I have experience with that person.
Oh, okay. All right. But yeah, I think I am going to do some research on a local digital assist or virtual assistant. So is that what I ask for? Is
to help with
my
specific.
digital footprint? Okay.
I would be specific. Yeah, social media virtual assistant, or again, addressing the problem that you have.
Okay.
Not just looking for their job title, because it goes broad. And some virtual assistants just specialize on specific things.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'll do some research on that.
And I know that Yvonne is planning on doing some training on the top 6
social media
stuff.
I've already signed up for it, and I'm like, can't wait for her class.
Good. Yeah. So let's see, Roxanne, did you have any?
Actually, I
Do's,
do have a
ahas?
question for folks like Kay and I, where we're in a direct sales
Mhm.
company. Do you recommend that we do United States? Because of course we can sell in the US.
Mhm.
Or do you think we should, because I know some people are really weird when they reach out, they find you online and they want to know
Yeah.
if you're near them.
Yeah. You know, this is kind of the rapport, the connection we make with people. I did a website for a pool designer who just moved to the area. And I said, when we do your website, we want testimonials from people in our neighborhood, in our backyard, like Rockland, Roseville, that kind of thing. Because if I see testimonials from Oakland, where he used to be, it doesn't mean as much. It doesn't connect to me as much. So my recommendation is to focus on your neighborhood,
Okay.
because we relate to that. Oh, they live
Right.
just around the corner from me. I mean, sure,
Right.
you can do nationwide, but I think the benefit of just saying I can do business anywhere
Yeah.
may not pay off as much as just focusing on your neighborhood.
Okay,
Posting
thank
pictures.
you. That concurs with my thought process. And
Good.
so that's what I did. So
Yeah.
that's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my call to action, I've been waiting for this class because my next call is going to be to Vista Print and find
Mhm.
out exactly what it is they think they're going to do for me and go from there.
How much are they charging you, if I can ask?
Oh, it's crazy. It's the first month is free and then you only pay $18 for a year.
Okay, wow, that's cheap.
Yeah, yeah.
Be interesting to see what they do.
Yeah, and it's, correct me if I'm wrong, but with Kay and I don't know that we need as much help as others because, we've got the name brand behind
Yeah.
us. We just need people to find us
Yes.
specifically.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to make sure that when we do list ourselves, we're doing it in a way that they can find us. I have another question for you on reviews. I'm primarily on Facebook. That's where my footprint is. So
Mhm.
I do have my hosts doing reviews on a regular basis now. So those are on my Facebook business page.
Mm-hmm.
So once people find me, they can see reviews there. Is
Yeah.
that a good start?
Oh yeah. The stars are important, whichever platform you're using. But I would, again, I'm a consumer that looks on Google. Facebook
Right.
is not my go-to to find resources. I Google stuff.
Right. Yeah.
And so if I never go to Facebook, you want that same star reflection to be on your Google My Business.
Gotcha.
And you're not supposed to solicit for reviews, but again, if you can say, hey, it would really help if you went to my Google My Business account and just left a review, you can get some traction there. But
Yeah.
people are busy. That's the thing about we got good results from texting them the request.
Right. Well, when I ask these ladies, they are high off of their party. And so,
Yeah, and got all this good stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's see, did I ask Yvonne? Did you get anything new from this, Yvonne? We've been talking about this for a while, so.
Actually, I like how you mentioned when you do a Google search that you see the FAQs.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like to know how to do that.
Yeah, I'm gonna research that. I just Googled how to get my results, and there's a couple of references. It wasn't something simple that I could just share, so I'm gonna have to research it a little bit, but that would be a possible topic for another Widget Wednesday. Because I really want to this was an overview and, post some questions and things for you guys to think about. And then, like I said, once a month, I'd like to kind of go deep dive into a specific topic, not kind of go all over the place, and that's why I put in that questionnaire. Are you more interested in blogging or video or,
Right.
star ratings? And then we can spend a little bit more time on specifics on that. Because this is not a one-time fix. This is an ongoing process because your competition is doing stuff, the industry changes, there's new products and services. So this is not, unfortunately, Pat, and let me address that. The thing, most of our businesses are very personal. I mean, this is not, something we're not I don't know why I pick on donuts, but if you're a donut, if you make donuts, people don't need to know your personality. I mean, they just want to know when you're open, what kind of donuts do you have, you know, where are you located? There's not a lot of personal questions, but for most of the people on this call, it's very personal. And you have to get involved because you can hire somebody to talk about you, but they're not going to talk about you the way you would talk about you. So I find it hard to hire a virtual assistant to manage your posts and your videos and all that, because I tell people the hardest part of the internet is not building the website. It's not posting the stuff. It's the content. And I have a term. It's called the content ectomy. I find getting content from my clients is like pulling teeth. It's like, send me pictures, send me testimonials, you know, it's like, so this is the same for you. So at some point, you're going to have to, you know, suck it up and at least get it to some point where you got the content. Then you can send it to somebody if you don't want to do the techie stuff of updating and stuff. But there's also tools for that. That's why I use things like Yext, because if you can do a plug and play, that'll take care of it. Promo Republic for social media, just do the plug and play. It'll take care of most of it because you're going to have to do some of it anyway. And technology is a lot cheaper than people because one, you know, they'll work 24/7 for you for pennies as opposed to people. They're reliable as opposed to people. So anyway, I'm not downplaying virtual assistants because there's great ones out there. I just find for me and my business, I'm better off looking for tools that will help me save time as opposed to people, just because, yeah, it's the Evelyn. Okay, so we're going to wrap up. Does anybody have any last minute?
I just have a quick question, Susan.
Here.
Is there an app that you recommend that will, and I think you told us before, that'll scan a business card and put it into our email thing? What was the name of that?
Well, so actually one of the tools, customer relationship management system, CRMs, they're also called CMSs, acronyms. It basically has a database of all your content that you can segment, do stuff with. HubSpot was one we had started using about 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Actually has a business scanner. There's an app called CamCard that you have on your phone that I still use that you can scan a business card. I like it because I'm a very visual person. Even if the business card has just their logo and not their picture on it, I like that because it just reminds me of them. The only thing is with those CamCard, for example, you have to upload it into Google or your CRM.
Okay.
I'll see if I can find anything else. Those are the ones I'm familiar with now. But that saves you time. Also, I didn't understand that. Google just thought I was talking to it. There's also a company, I think it's called shoebox.com, where you can actually send them a shoebox of your business cards and they'll scan them for you. I've not used it, but it seemed pretty cheap. But I remembered it because, yeah, we all have shoe boxes or bank boxes full of cards that are old. And so I don't know if it's worthwhile. I'm actually cleaning mine out because it's like, I'm not going to call this person. But yeah, so start putting that information in a place where you can get it. And actually one of the things we're talking about now, and I'm going to have probably a mastermind group on is CRMs, because that's where you got all this automation. I was able to get the registration into my active campaign CRM, send you reminders all in one place, know what you signed up for. The questions that you're answering can go into that CRM. So I know what you're interested in. And I can get that in one place for all my contacts and all different aspects of my business. So that may be another topic we can cover in a future mastermind or something. And again, let me know what you're interested in. Because you're my Google right now, you guys. What questions are you asking? So I know where to focus my time and energy. And this, again, I'm the Widget Wednesdays I'm offering for free. And the mastermind groups have a small fee to them. But again, if it saves you time and helps you make money, that's the goal. All right. Any other last minute? All right. Well, thank you again for spending some time with me. I really enjoy the teaching aspect of it. If you have specific questions you want to follow up on and I think I put it in the form. For those of you who haven't, I think most of you have, maybe Roxanne, you haven't, I do a deep dive digital review. Normally it's $99. For this group, it's $29. So if you or someone you know might be interested in that, that really helps go into specifics about your business, do keyword searches and stuff like that. So let me know. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Bye,
Have a good day,
everybody.
everybody.
It was good
Bye.
to see you. Bye. Thanks, Susan.
Yeah,
Bye,
you're
thank you.
welcome.